So Dick, what are you working on these days? You're muted.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Well, medical, dental, quick lube. There's an online software as a service. What's another one? Oh, a couple of restaurants, 3 restaurants. They're just kind of trickling in a little bit. None of them, however, were, as Tanya knows, these things, when they say, yes, we want to list it, you're thinking tomorrow, right? But how long does it take, Tanya, normally when they say, I'm going to list it, how long does it take? To actually happen if it's a good client and you want it?
Yeah, I think my bigger issue is usually getting the financials up front to determine if it's saleable.
Yeah.
So I've got one client I still follow up with quarterly because she contacted me probably 5 years ago, wanted to sell the business 5 years ago. Yeah. And I still don't have her financials, so clearly not motivated, right? But I still follow up with her, like every quarter. I'll send her out an email, or could give her a call and ask her how things are going. But no, I've got 3 or 4 right now where, they called me up, they want to sell and all that. And then I send them a list of the documents I need to do a business price analysis, and it hits the skids. And so again, I follow up periodically, and my email, when I do follow up, it says, hey, just following up, want to see if you have an ETA on when I might be able to get those documents for the business price analysis. By the way, if you've changed your mind or you've gone in a different direction, just let me know. I don't want to send unwanted emails. And, we try to be diligent, but prefer not to be pests. And so, the responses I get back to that are pretty hilarious. So, sometimes they'll say, no, please be a pest. Please be a pest. Because I need to get this done. I sent it to my accountant, and, so it is pretty funny, but yeah, that's the bigger issue. So once I've done the business price analysis and I've talked to them and we've agreed on the price and all of that, I set up the representation agreement, agency disclosure, send it over to them and DigiSign to electronically sign. And I usually have that done within 24 hours. I mean, they sign it from their phone or whatever, but it's just getting to that point that can take anywhere from a few weeks to a few months to a few years.
Yeah, the biggest challenge is definitely getting the financials. And what I do is when I speak to, somebody initially, I'll be very aggressive that first week in terms of follow-up, because I just want to weed them out to see if they're legitimately interested in selling their business or not. Yeah. Had a call a little over a week ago with a guy out here who wants to sell his business, or at least he indicated he wanted to sell his business. And then once I asked him for the financials, it completely fell off a cliff, and I had to talk him into giving me the financials. And it's been 10 days. He still hasn't sent them to me. He still hasn't responded to my phone calls, to my emails. Yeah. So my gut told me initially when he objected, or at least he hesitated in wanting to disclose the financials, I knew where it was going. And so rather than just waste my time, I just want to weed it out the first week just to make sure whether or not I'm right or wrong. And after 10 days of no response back, I'm moving on. And if he decides he wants to send me the financials, like Tanya said, I'll follow up with him again. But after a week of being aggressive, if I'm not getting any response, I move on. And the other thing I would say is that when you're speaking to a prospect, if they maybe not are reluctant to disclose their financials, but maybe they're not organized enough, always suggest asking them to get their accountant involved and just say, look, I get it. You're running your business all day. Why don't we send an email to your accountant? You'll be in the loop on every email correspondence. It'll make your life a lot easier. You can focus on your business. Let me deal with your accountant to get the financials. So that's something that I always offer I'll offer out that to any prospect, but especially if somebody is either reluctant to give me the financials or is just waving and just doesn't have them, or is telling me that they're just not organized enough to give them to me.
Yeah, I have an email template that for the documents that I need. It's just an email template, so it's very easy for me to, and I tell them in the conversation, I said, well, here's, I'm going to need your last 3 years of tax returns, P&Ls, balance sheets, but I'll tell you what, I'm going to send you an email that lists exactly what I need. If you don't have everything, that's okay. Send me what you do have. And if it's going to be a problem for you, a lot of people just forward the email to their accountant. So feel free to just forward my email to your CPA and ask them to send it to me. And so that way it takes me very little time. And then once I send that email out, I'm done with them until I either get something back, or maybe I'll give it 2 or 3 weeks and then I'll follow up and just say, hey, just wanting to get an ETA on those documents and so forth. So I don't, I'm not really that aggressive with them from the beginning, simply because so many of the people that I deal with, I mean, if they can't tell me what their gross revenue was for 2021, then they don't look at their financials. They don't, if they can't tell me that number off the top of their head, then, they don't look at them, and probably are not going to be able to provide them to me. They're probably going to have their accountant do it anyway. So at that point, it's the CPA might be on vacation, might be here or there. So I just keep it pretty simple. But I would highly recommend for things like that, where that's a basic request we're always going to have is here's the documents I need to do a business valuation or whatever. Put it into an email template, so it just makes it really easy for you. Once their contact information is in, you just say, hey, send them this template, boom, and you're done.